Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day today. Um, in today's episode of the Charles A. Gorman Show, I'm going to tell you guys why I am a fan of the idea and concept of Spider-Man Peter Parker specifically having organic webbing. Now, keep in mind, I am a fan of the web shooters. They are without question not only one of the most famous and iconic gadgets and weapons in the superhero genre, but they also, as far as I'm concerned, among the greatest gadgets and weapons in the history of the superhero genre as well. So, I am a fan. It definitely does a great job in showcasing Spider-Man, Peter Parker's intelligence and resourcefulness. That's for sure. But what really made me a fan of the idea and concept of Peter Parker / Spider-Man having organic webs is pretty much simple. The Raimi trilogy. I mean, yes, when I first saw him manifest that ability in the franchise, I will admit I was like, okay, this is starting to get weird too a little bit. But then how he would go on to master and utilize that ability throughout the Raimi trilogy, as well as in No Way Home, made me a fan of that ability. Now, yes, for those of you who are wondering, yes, they would later on in the comics give Spider-Man that ability, give Peter Parker in the comics, the mainstream comics in particular, that ability. But how it was done, I thought was poorly executed. I thought they just did it just for the sake of, because he has that in the Raimi Spider-Man movies that were being released at the time. Let's give him that in the comics. I thought that was so stupid. Rather than have, and how he got them was so weird and crazy and kind of creepy too. Like, he got her from this villainess called the Spider Queen, who had a weird, fat, and crazy, obsessive infatuation with him, and she kissed him, and through her saliva, caused his spider DNA to mutate, transform into a giant spider. Then he molted, gained increased abilities, but also the ability to spin and produce organic webbing. As I said, how it was done was rushed, in my opinion. I think it was not properly executed, in my opinion. I thought it was just for the sake of, hey, he's got that ability in the movies, let's give him that in the comics. I thought that was stupid. And I thought that was a stupid and crappy reason to do it. But as I said, and his organic webbing also is a lot more powerful than his web fluid. His web fluid that he specifically designs lasts for at least 1 to 2 hours, while his organic webbing lasts for 1 to 2 weeks. Even though I absolutely despise Brand New Day with a passion, one of the things that I do like about it was how he was able to restrain Iron Man with his organic webs. In the beginning of One More Day, Peter and Iron Man are trading punch. Then all of a sudden, Iron Man is about to blast him with a big old unibeam blast. And then just before he fires, Spider-Man engulfs him, encases him in so much organic webbing that it literally beat him. As Iron Man was about to blast him with his unibeam, Peter just unleashes a massive amount of organic webbing that had literally ensnared Iron Man and restrained him for a pretty solid period of time. I thought that was cool. And as I said, it makes sense too if you think about it. Like, if Peter was to gain the ability, if someone was to gain, the abilities of a spider, that person should be able to spin webs. Now, obviously, there is a character in these animated series, Venture Bros, I think called the Brown Widow, where he literally shoots webs from his backside, from his lower back, I believe, from his lower back, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, imagine Spider-Man doing that in the comics. That would be creepy and silly and all kinds of nasty shit, but you know what I mean. But, yeah, man, I've always was a fan of Spider-Man's organic webs. And that was one of the main reasons why I loved Brand New Day, was the fact that they kind of gave him the organic webs. They gave the character Spider-Man organic webs again. Will they give that to him again in the comics? I have no idea. Probably not, but it is cool that the MCU version of Peter Parker / Spider-Man has organic webs, much like Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man in the Spider-Noir universe, and Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in the Raimi verse. So that's awesome right there. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.